Black history is American history, and it's Cleveland's history too.
And tucked away in 60 acres on the city's east side is a place deeply rooted in Black history, but seldom even considered. News 5's Jordan Vandenberg has more now on this history that is hiding in plain sight.
There is no greater illuminator of the present than history. And here at Woodland Cemetery is a team of volunteers that have donated their time and talents to bring some of that history to light. History isn't its own novel, but rather a prologue for the present. In a Woodland Cemetery's center circle,
the residents all have a story.
Here stand its copy editors.
There's about 85,000 residents in Woodland Cemetery. And I've always said every one of them has a story to tell. So our job is that we're trying to find those stories and to tell them.
As a kid, Michelle Day hated history. As an adult, it's an unbridled infatuation. Woodland is why.
The cemetery is vast in knowledge. You know, it's us to turn around and bring out that history.
Named after the trees that tower above it, Woodland Cemetery dates back to 1853. Among those interred here are heroes of the War of 1812 and the Civil War. There are also those who risked life and liberty for what it truly means for all men to be considered equal.
We started doing research with the Underground Railroad and how many people are within the cemetery, within these gates of the 60 acres that people just don't talk about. And it had a lot to do with Cleveland's history.
Research with one person, you will begin to paint a picture of the context of what was going on, and it's in their own backyard.
The names and stories span centuries. George Vosburgh, a fixture of the old Union Depot and friend of Frederick Douglass and several presidents, helped runaway slaves. Lucy Bagby Johnson, one of the last slaves sent back to the South. Joseph Briggs, the inventor of home mail delivery. And John Brown, known as John the Barber, the city's wealthiest African American who risked absolutely everything to hide escaped slaves. His obelisk watches over Woodland.
It's right across the street from all that new housing. And I find that ironic that he stands there tall and visible, and no one knows about John Brown.
Very prominent in their time, but as time moves on, they begin to be forgotten.
That's one of Woodland's contradictions, a place so rich in history that has largely been forgotten by it.
It's kind of like a forgotten part of the forgotten triangle.
Some of the most notable, like Maria Ambush, a station master on the Underground Railroad, lie in unmarked graves.
Their stories do need to be told, and how do you get them memorialized in an empty grave? And so we have tried over the years, replacing some headstones here and there when we can. But it's all based on grants.
That's why Michelle and Dorothy and Paul and Pat,
it's more than facts, it's alive,
stand at the center of the Woodland Cemetery Foundation.
All volunteer army.
In all of the research the group does. History isn't a standalone story, it is simply a prologue to the present.
The story of Woodland needs to be brought out.
In Cleveland, Jordan Vandenberg, News 5.